Hey, how are y'all doing? So we have the overnight highs here, the overnight lows here. We're in this range, which let me quickly actually zoom out and show the whole day. I accidentally went over to the other day. So here's the whole day. Good day, way better than yesterday. Way better than the last week, last couple days, Thursday and Friday. But which I didn't get any videos up. So I didn't get any videos up on Thursday and Friday because I was just busy. I was doing something. But I was busy, but I was had the charts open, and then I would kind of just look over at the charts, and then I took a trade on Thursday and Friday, and I lost both trades, but I didn't have any more time. Literally, as soon as I get a second to look at the chart, I think I see something, I just quickly take it, impulse, and they lose both times, and then I am not able to get to the chart another time that day. So anyway. But we have the overnight highs, we have the overnight lows here. We're in this range. Now, I quickly want to talk about this area. So, you see this blue line? Now, you see how there's the two legs down, so you can see it uptrend. So this uptrend, you get a break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. But then on a bigger picture, as more price action forms, you can look at this whole thing as a break. So uptrend, break, and then first attempt higher, second attempt higher right there. So I entered on this second attempt higher. And so I've seen it like this a long time. When you get the bigger picture price action, as more price action forms, you get stuff on a bigger picture. You can count this whole thing as a leg down and as just one break, and then you need a break of this, what I would call the break line. You need a break of the break line for it to be considered the first attempt higher, which I need to talk about that more. Sometimes I forget to talk about the more advanced stuff because whenever I talk about more advanced stuff, I get so many questions, so I think subconsciously I avoid it sometimes. But anyway, but after you get a break of that, that's the first leg higher, that's the second leg higher. So it's kind of like you can look at it as a two-legged break, because usually what I'd see it as, as I mentioned, that's the first attempt higher there, and then that's the second attempt higher. But then as more price action forms, you get this bigger pattern where this whole thing is the break, and then those are the legs higher. But how I've been seeing it lately is you'll often just get a two-legged break, which I don't even know why I haven't really seen it like that. I've always just seen it as a more bigger picture break. And so a lot of times there's a buying opportunity at these two-legged breaks. And so it's there's nothing here because, one, you're expecting to fade. There's going to be too many shorts trying to fade, and it successfully got back below the EMA. It's just not worth. I don't think it's worth going long here, even on this two-legged break. It honestly looks like a decently good setup. It's just the EMA and the context is not good. The setup looks good, but the context is terrible. So it's just not a perfect long right there, in my opinion. And so anyway, after this whole, so basically this whole thing to me looks like a break with this blue line, because I'm just used to seeing it on a bigger picture, and then you get the first attempt higher, and then I entered on that second attempt higher right there. So price tried to fade the range, it failed, it shot way back above, held with this higher low, and by the way, I do see that it's a failed second entry. You can see the first entry short, second entry short failure, but to me, it's just, which let me move this out of the way, because that wasn't there at the time, but to me, all I see is uptrend break, expecting a new high. We had this uptrend, break, we had first attempt higher, and now I'm entering on the second attempt higher, and then I have this little short-term uptrend here, and so it's if I draw it like that, you do get a break there, new high, but really that just looks like one leg up, to be honest, especially if you draw it off that wick. You can just draw it like that, uptrend, break, expecting new high. I don't care that it had a tick lower there. It's just that, that's just a few ticks lower, that doesn't matter. That's a real pullback. When you actually pull back, it's way thicker. It's a couple bars down. It's just a higher low. To me, I don't see a failed second entry. So I hope that's clear. Just seeing stuff on a bigger picture, ignoring the ticks lower. That's what helped me. So anyway, we go into this wider uptrend here. Let me get that perfect. All right, so we're in this bigger uptrend. The lows fit pretty good. You get 3 bounces off the lows, and then you get 2 bounces off the highs. So inside of here, this short-term uptrend here, you don't get anything because this correction never reaches the EMA. And then you get another leg up, correct, doesn't reach the EMA, makes a new high. You push back down to the EMA, you get this first entry. You're obviously not going to want to just buy some first entry that just came off the overnight highs. I mean, when you come off not the overnight highs, this channel highs. When you come off the channel highs, you're expected to reach the other side, and you don't want to look to buy until the downtrend plays out with a break in a new low, or at least two attempts to a new low. And so then it has a break. So this little downtrend here, it's very hard to draw, but basically, because it's just not clear. But basically, you have a push down, a break, first attempt lower, and then a second attempt lower, which makes it right there. And so the downtrend played out. It's okay to look for longs again. Now you have this uptrend break, expecting a new high, but you do have this wider downtrend in play, so I'd avoid buying there, which it does get a break in a new low. So the downtrend played out at this point. The uptrend still has a break. You're still expecting a new high, except now the downtrend has just played out. Now it did. Here's the thing. The reason I didn't want to buy there is because, there's a couple reasons. One, it's extremely bearish. Just this immediate move right here is just very bearish, mixed with the fact that it still only has one leg down to a new low. So I would be afraid of it having two legs at a new low, and it's just also so bearish there, and also looks like it has a short-term trend line, which I actually never drew it in real time because I could just tell it was not good for other reasons. But so the short-term trend line, it could make a second leg down, mixed with the fact that it's a very bearish leg down right there. I just thought I'd skip it. So then we get this short-term uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. Obviously, there's no clear entries in any of that. I think the best entry in that is actually this inside bar, entering above that, putting the stop below the swing. Because, you can tell what's going on. The uptrend has a break, you're expecting a new high. The short-term uptrend has a break, you're expecting a new high. You got that first clear attempt higher. You could get a second attempt higher there, but it's just not clear enough to where you can expect a high probability. It doesn't look like a high probability setup, if I'm being honest with you. So that's why I didn't want to take anything there. And of course at that point I didn't quite get that range. It took me a little bit later to get the range, but we do have this range here, and then this blue line here, I drew it to represent the bullish imbalance. So when you get this bounce here, obviously that's not a bullish imbalance. That's just a leg up, break, second leg up. But then price finds support right there. So when it starts finding support right there, that's immediately a sign of a bullish imbalance. So clearly there's more bulls in this range than bears, and so excuse me, I got a text message. Anyway, so anyway, we bounce off this support level here, which formed right here. You bounce there, and then you bounce the same level again. That's a very clear sign of a bullish imbalance. So all the bullish imbalance means is there's more bulls controlling this range than there are bears, which means that I don't think it's a very good idea to buy. To short. I apologize. To short inside of a range with a bullish imbalance, unless you get a really good setup, on the right side of the EMA with some short-term momentum. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be opposed to taking a short that rushes through the EMA, and then you get a perfect failed second entry, like a big picture one where you can clearly see everything separated. That would be good as long as you have room down to here, and I would still be okay with that short. But I wouldn't want to take there's just one leg up. I don't want to immediately short on the break of it because, you got this bullish imbalance here. Now, one thing that you could argue is, well, yeah, but this uptrend has played out with a break in a new high. You have uptrend break, you make a new high right there, and then you have a second leg. You get a couple legs to a new high, and then this next leg. Yeah, it is played out, but, it made the new high right there, and then this bullish imbalance still held. It's still held at that support level. So it's I feel like there's some bullish momentum still in play, and there's a clear bullish imbalance. So I just want more confirmation before I go short. That's all. So anyway, we do start to get this uptrend here. I got it off these two lows. It ended up holding here. And so that's another thing. If you can get an uptrend inside your range, then that's also a sign of a bullish imbalance if there's an uptrend. But anyway, price holds again. I didn't want to take anything off of it because it's right into these highs. And also it gets confusing because you want to say buy off the key entry point here, but you just rushed below the EMA and faded the range. What if you reach the lows of the range, you know, and get a break of this channel? So it's just a confusing area, so I didn't want to take anything there, but it does hold. We reach the highs. We get a tiny overshoot, but it, you know, it basically just, you know, acts as a bounce. It doesn't just, you know, run out the other side, but it bounces off the EMA here, so you can actually draw this short-term uptrend, and you get a break. First attempt higher, second attempt higher, gets pretty congestive after that, and then makes a few more legs up. Really, there's nothing in here, nothing in this congestion. You can say, well, there's this third bounce because you got 1, 2, and then basically fourth bounce, actually. So, you know, I don't particularly see anything good. I mean, you're just coming off these, you know, uptrend highs. You're just coming off the highs. I mean, you are expected to reach the other side. So if you bounce off the highs of a channel and then just get a first entry, that's not something I'd want to take, to be honest with you. So I just don't think there's anything there. And it can really feel like, oh, there's so much price action going by. If I can just catch a little bit of it, I'll be up so much, and then there's so much going by, and I'm, you know, not catching any of it. But you just got to be patient. I mean, it can take a while between trades. I mean, I got these two pretty close, but you just got to be patient. So, anyways, then this short-term uptrend here got a break. First leg to a new high, second leg to a new high. I don't think there's a good entry there. Same thing with this uptrend coming off the highs. You just don't want to short directly into the trend highs. So this short-term uptrend has a break and a new high. We rush back below the EMA, end up getting this lower high. Then we get this failed second entry, which I took, which I ended up taking it only after this next bar formed. But let me just explain it. It kind of felt strange because if I have it like this downtrend here, so this one right here, it has a break, and then I'm entering on the first attempt lower. But it's like if I have it like this, then it's downtrend break, first attempt, second attempt, so that's the second attempt, but it's still already made a new low. But basically, here's kind of how I see it. This break of this channel, this downtrend, you get this break, it is small enough to where you can clearly see that there's just one leg down. So I really think that there's one leg down here, and then a break, and then we get a second leg down, which ends up forming as one bigger leg down. Now, I don't think it's a perfect entry. It's a short. Now, kind of like what I was saying up here, when you come off one side of the trend, you are expected to reach the other side, even if it's, you know, even if you're technically taking a counter trend trade, you are expected to reach the other side. I wasn't comfortable going for 1 to 2. I kind of regret this trade a little bit, just because, like, I just know it's not a perfect trade. You know, I really am just seeing it as a to the tick failed second entry with a downtrend break. That's really all I can say for this trade, so it's not perfect. I don't want to say I wish I didn't take it, because, you know, the context is all right, but it's I'm glad I went for 1 to 1. I feel like it's probably not high probability for 1 to 2. I'm not 100% sure. It just felt like a strange trade, because usually if I'm in an uptrend, I do not like to take shorts inside of it. And same the inverse, obviously. But it's very common that, you know, you can get counter trend trades, especially when you get overshoots like this. You're expecting a break. But I usually avoid them. But I took one today, but of course I limited it into 1 to 1 because I wasn't quite comfortable with it. Now this trade right here. Oh, whoops! What did I click? There we go. So it did pull back really far against me. Not really far. It went really far in my favor, and then basically took it all back. It actually didn't necessarily go that far against me. It only went, you know, it didn't even quite reach halfway to the stop. But you know, it did. Here's the thing. Here's what I was thinking about this long. Uptrend break. We're expecting a new high. Downtrend has a break and 2 legs to a new low. Downtrend played out. Now I quickly want to talk about this. So this is the move to the new low right here. And now I quickly want to talk about this because I've seen people get confused when I talk about this. So a lot of times, if you are entering on an overshoot, because I would not have been able to take this without the overshoot there. So I wouldn't have been able to take it without the overshoot. The overshoot is what ends up letting me take it, because then it's technically not It's not, because when you get an overshoot, you can expect a break, which means that a lot of times an overshoot will actually help your trade out. But I wouldn't just want to take this if it was just blocked by the downtrend with no overshoot. And so when you get an overshoot, sometimes you'll need to get out before you reach the other side of the channel. So it's like if you get an overshoot in this downtrend here, you would want to get out before the trend highs, but that's only with bigger trends. So, and I'm still like experimenting with it myself. So here's how I think about it. If you get a trend that's, say, this size right here, and it's the same concept, you just get an overshoot and then you want to try to get out, I mean, that's big enough to where it could definitely come back into play. But this is so short term. It's like if I get a good context trade, like good context on this big picture, like it's a big picture context area with this big uptrend, I'm not going to seriously say, oh, it needs to go through this very, very short-term trend line, which is almost nothing in size with the context of what I'm taking. I'm not going to say that. But if it's with a trend like this, where it's, actually a lot more relative in size to the price action I would be trading off of, like if, say I was taking an overshoot of this downtrend, then I would want to get out before these highs because it might react off of it. But something like that, and it really is just based on the size of it. I don't have any other parameters for when to be okay with it needing to go outside of the other end of the channel and when to try to get out beforehand. But generally, on the trades where you're able to get out beforehand, those are generally the ones where you would want to anyway. And it sounds weird saying it like that because if you're able to anyway. Usually when I say able to, I mean able to with like 1-to-1 or something not quite 1-to-2. Because I often do find myself lowering my target a little bit when I need to get out before those. Sorry if that's a bit confusing. Sometimes I watch the videos back and I realize I could have been a little bit clearer. But that's basically what I'm talking about there. Which I kind of lost track about what I was, talking about earlier. But anyway, so here, same kind of thing here. This uptrend has this two-legged break, kind of like over here. Uptrend, two-legged break, and then you can see it as here, like uptrend break, first attempt higher, and then second attempt higher, which is basically what I entered off of. But then there's also the uptrend and then break. So this whole two-legged move here is part of the break. So uptrend, break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher. So I just want to compare these two areas here. Sorry, let me get these both in frame. So here, this uptrend has a break, first attempt higher, second attempt higher, but at the end of the day, it is all moving down. It's in that two-legged move. Same thing here, uptrend, you get this two-legged move, it's all moving down, but you can still consider those the first and second attempts higher right there. But then after you get a break of it, you get that first attempt higher once it actually pushes through this bigger picture trend line, and then you get the higher low after that, and then that's what ends up launching the second leg. Same thing here. You just get a deeper pullback. You actually wait on a break of the two-legged move down with that trend line, and then you get this higher low on a bigger picture. But if you go to a smaller picture, this looks nothing more than that. It just looks like a higher low that had a deeper pullback. First leg higher after it breaks that, and then second leg higher on that higher low. It's the same concept on small picture, price action, big picture. It's all the same. You if you want to go for bigger targets, you just have got to train your eyes to see. Kind of like what I was explaining here. You just got to train your eyes to see it on a bigger picture, or else you're not going to be able to get out of scalping. If I'm just being honest here. But anyway, where was I? Here. So yeah, that was the trade. It pulled back pretty heavily, which was annoying, and I realized why. I kind of realized maybe I could have had a bigger channel here. I didn't even consider it for some reason. And there would have been an overshoot here, which would have made it feel better, but it did bounce off of it again. But at least at this point, you get the two-legged break, which is something that I've been really interested in lately, which I haven't had enough time to study it because of the project I was doing with my brother, but I'm going to be studying that all day because, this could be a big breakthrough. So anyway, how long is this video? Damn, 20 minutes. I hope I'm not rambling. Sometimes I feel like I don't talk about stuff enough. Sometimes I feel like I ramble and make them take too long and annoy people, but whatever. We go into this uptrend here, so we push up higher here. It ends up reacting off of the channel lows. We push back lower. We almost make a double bottom here with over here, and then we kind of get congestive. It starts to go into this shallow uptrend, which quickly gets a break and goes into this very steep uptrend. Then we go into this uptrend. At first, it's kind of like this, obviously, but then you get this break, new high, 2 legs to a new high. There's no way that you can enter those because they don't even reach the EMA. But clearly, you get this bigger uptrend in play. And so, you have this uptrend, break, first time tire, second time tire. Now, one thing I quickly want to try to talk about is, what was I about to talk about? Because it was something that I was going to try to talk about last video, but I forgot about it. And I remembered that I was going to talk about something, but I actually don't even remember what that was. Alright, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said I was going to talk about something because I don't even remember. But let me think. I don't want this to take forever, me thinking about it. Alright, if I remember it, I'll remember it. So, anyway. The uptrend has a break. You get a couple legs to a new high. Clearly there was people reacting off this uptrend break. And then you get these 2 legs up. And so then how you can kind of see it is, uptrend, break, and then you get that leg up there. But really you can see these as the 2 legs up. It kind of looks like I bet on a bigger picture. I bet on a bigger picture it would look a little bit like a spiking channel. Maybe not. Maybe I'm reaching, but anyway. So the uptrend gets a break. You get a couple legs up. They look pretty measured. And wait, I should be starting that from there, the bottom. There we go. What the heck? I keep pressing different keys on accident. There we go. So not quite measured, but we can get there probably pretty soon, hopefully. I mean, I don't know why I said hopefully. I don't really care because I'm not trading anymore, but anyway, the uptrend has a break, couple legs to a new high, and then we end up making a measured leg in total. And so that's really all we have. I don't see any entries in here. We don't quite reach the EMA there. It's just kind of choppy here. You don't really want to you don't want to go short. I mean, we keep going higher. But I also don't see any buys here because he did just rush below the EMA and then hold once here. So anyway, I'm just gonna end the video here. That's really all I got for today. But yeah. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time.